Do you feel like you've done everything right, but things still keep going wrong? Or maybe there's something you need to let go of, but you're too afraid to because you don't feel like there's anything better around the corner. Or maybe you just feel like, I feel stuck. I'm doing all the right things, but I'm not making any forward motion. If you feel like this or said yes to any of these questions, stay tuned. In a previous video, I shared how not listening to the voice, intuition, gut, and what I call the Holy Spirit kept me in a relationship that was obviously not healthy and ended up nearly being deadly. I ignored a dream, I ignored my feeling that I felt, and I also ignored someone encouraging me to move forward towards a different direction. I ignored all of those things, didn't listen to my gut, and I just said no. And I overlooked that and thought that good enough was what God wanted me to have. And like I said, it nearly cost me my life. It can also creep in not only in our relationships and relationships that we should or shouldn't get into, but it can also keep us in careers that we shouldn't stay in. I know for myself, I love being creative. I love speaking to people, working with people, um, really just doing things of a creative nature. And I was in a job for nearly 15 years doing insurance. I was a homeowner adjuster. I also did auto insurance. And honestly, I had never gotten cussed out so many times because, people get mad when you don't pay their claims. Very interesting as a side note, one time I saved somebody's life because we didn't cover their claim. I gave her advice and comforted her. On the other hand, I heard a baby being born. Hey, it's insurance world can be interesting, but it just wasn't me. And what I did, I stayed in it and I stayed in it. And I got to the point where I felt so overwhelmed. I would come to work almost daily and I would cry. I would look at the clock. I would clock in at 7 o'clock. And by 7:05, I was like, okay, when am I getting off? And I just knew that that wasn't the right place for me, but I stayed because it was the right thing to do. And so instead of listening to the Holy Spirit guide me a different direction, I delayed my own blessings. I delayed my own breakthrough because I didn't listen at that time. So I just wanted to give an example of not that that only happens in relationships, but it can be career or truly any area of your life where you are not listening to the Holy Spirit to guide you. And what I wanted to share with you today, after covering that quickly, is your intuition, your gut, the Holy Spirit is your superpower. That is one thing that is often overlooked. It's almost like we take it for granted. So if you think about it this way, right? Think about your favorite superhero. I like Batman. And I'm like, Batman is, he turned his fear of bats and his situation that happened with his parents, and he transmuted that into his superpower, or he transmuted that into what he became. You know how Superman has his superpower, right? He can fly and he goes and he changes from Clark and then he goes and he becomes Superman, or you have Batman, or whatever superhero that you want to name, or whoever your superhero is. The Holy Spirit is truly your superpower, and it is the superpower of all superpowers is the Holy Spirit. Whether, like I said, if you call it the voice, your intuition, that gut feeling, the Spirit of God, whatever that is, I call the Holy Spirit, truly is your superpower. Let's think of all the things that it does for you. One, it gives clarity in the midst of chaos, right? Isn't that kind of self-explanatory? Number two, it protects you from harm, just like it did with looking back at my situation. The Holy Spirit tried to protect me from harm, but I just kind of ran right towards it. Like, oh no, I'm going to ignore you. Let me run towards it. I don't hear anything. Let me go towards the harm. But really what the Holy Spirit was doing was warning me and trying to protect me. Number three, it aligns with your purpose. The Spirit is never going to direct you in a way that doesn't fit for what your ultimate purpose is. So just listen, and when you hear, is this aligning to what God is calling me to do? Is this aligning with the person that I am? Does this align with my values, with my purpose? 4, it strengthens your confidence. So when you start trusting the intuition or the voice of God, the Holy Spirit, and you start saying, whoa, I listened and it worked out. Whoa, I listened and this opportunity presented itself. I listened and XYZ. You're going to start building trust in the Holy Spirit, and you're going to start following, and it's going to just build that up for you. And the 5th one, and this is what makes it such an amazing superpower, is it is always available. You know, Superman needs to sleep. Batman needs to sleep. You know, all the superheroes are resting and they got to get repowered, and they can get knocked out and then come back. But you know, the Holy Spirit never loses. It's always available. It never sleeps. It is available 24/7, 365 days. But are you using the Holy Spirit? Are you gaining the wisdom that it's trying to share with you? Are you hearing it? So, how does the Holy Spirit give you a superpower? It gives clarity in the midst of chaos, protects you from harm, it aligns with your purpose, it strengthens your confidence, and it's always available. That's how the Holy Spirit truly is your superpower. So the next video I share is, how do you know if it's the voice of God or if it's a counterfeit voice? So we're going to dive into that next video. I hope this helps. So excited to kind of dig into this and really learn more about how the Holy Spirit is here to help us and how we can begin using it to truly create an abundant and prosperous life for ourselves. Thanks for listening.